Salam and good evening to you, worthy friends. Please come closer, sit down and relax as I unfold the secrets of flashlight title sequence to you. Yeah, hello guys, this is Maltanan, your favorite After Effects teacher from your favorite After Effects resources website, www.maltanan.com. And what we're going to create today is this cool flashlight text that you see right here on my screen. I created that a long time ago, and I planned to do this tutorial for a long time. It's been like 6 months or so, and I don't quite remember how I did it, although I have the project file, of course, but I think it's too complex to cover all the techniques in one tutorial, so I'll just start doing it from scratch and go with the flow, and we'll see where we'll end up finally. Okay, so this tutorial can be followed without any third-party plugins, but I think that if you're thinking seriously about doing anything in After Effects and efficiently, then you just have to have all the Trapcode's plugins, which I'm going to use in this tutorial. But like I said, it can be followed without them, but the results are going to be, a little less impressive. So let's just start. Let's create a new comp, maybe 500 by 300, maybe that's okay. 10 seconds long or whatever. And let's start off by creating a new text layer. The light, okay. Let's position it in the center of the comp, like so. I think that's right. Maybe let's decrease the size just a little bit. And yeah, and that's it. Thanks for watching and hope to see you soon. No, not really. Next, let's create a light. Since we're going to do a flashlight, we gotta have a light source, right? So this is it. And now we need to somehow visualize this light. Since we have no 3D layers and no camera and no nothing, we still need to visualize this light. We're going to create a new solid. Let's call it light. And let's put it below. And we'll apply Trapcode Lux. And as you can see, what it does, it visualizes the light. It's a very cool plugin. And you could achieve the similar effect by creating a solid with a circle, for example, and then applying some fast CC radial fast blur, but the results are not as smooth and not as cool like this one. So we'll stick with the Trapcode plugin. And yeah, next step is to animate the light. And we're going to do that by applying some expressions to it. But first, as you probably guessed already, we're going to create a controller layer to control the animation. So let's create new sliders. Slider like so. And this is going to be our X position. Oh, you know what? In fact, we can use point instead of sliders. Point, position of the light, and we're not going to use the Z position of the light because, like I said before, this is not a 3D comp. We don't need a Z axis. So let's just go to the transform position. Let's create a new variable called P, and this is going to be our point. But of course, to point to the point with the pick whip, we need to see the layer. So ignore this message. We're going to log this layer for now and just point to the point of the point. And now we are going to create a new variable called Z, which is going to be our Z position of the light. And then we're going to assign the position of the controller to the position of the light. So P0, which is X, P1, which is Y, and then Z. And okay, that's it, I think. pretty cool, I must say. Looks exactly how it should, but I can see we have some problem in here. I don't know exactly what that is, but we can probably fix that with the settings of Trapcode Lux. So let's just see. Yeah, that's right. We just have to set the reach parameters so it goes far behind the comp area. So let's go back to the controller. And I think it would be cool to use the wiggle instead of this simple position. So we're going to change the expression so that these values define the wiggle on the x-axis and on the y-axis. And this is going to alter the original position of the light, and I think that's a better approach. So let's just leave this as it is, and let's create a new variable. X equals wiggle, and let's say 0.2 in the range of x, and the same for the y. Wiggle 0.2 in the range of y, and z equals 0, and now x, y, and z. I think I know what that is. This is probably caused by the way that wiggle works, and wiggle sees that we're working in the three-dimensional values, so it generates a three-dimensional values, which then put in here create a array that is bigger than 3 dimensions, which is not what we want. So here we're just going to say use the first value, use the second value, and z0, and now let's see, yeah, that works. That works okay. So now we can decrease the values in here and set them to maybe, first of all, let's set them to 0 and see where the light is in its original position, which is this, as you can see, and that's good. So let's set it up a little bit better, and maybe in the middle of the comp, like so. So we then move from this point, right? And let's create, and let's turn the expression on again, and now we can increase the wiggle values and see how that works. Okay, that's pretty cool, but I think it's a little bit too much in the y-axis. Yeah, that looks okay, I think. But also, I think we can change this 0.2 into a slider value as well. So let's create a new point, which is going to be x and y frequency. And let's set it to 0 and 0. And let's create a new variable called f for frequency. Let's take the pick whip like so. And here, instead of 0.2, we're going to put f and the first value of the f and the second value of the f. And I think that maybe we could as well divide it by some factor, because putting in values like 0.2 or something like that is a bit troubling, but I think maybe we can somehow survive with this, right? It's not that big of a deal. So now it moves, it wiggles in the y-axis more often, which is also cool. Yeah, this in fact looks pretty okay, I think. And now we're going to need the same set of controllers, not for the position of the light, but for its anchor point, which is the point of interest. Because as you can see, when we move this, the direction of the light changes as well, not only from the position, but from the anchor point as well. So let's create a new set of controllers, and let's create a new point, which which is going to be our point of interest position, and point of interest X and Y, and I think in this case maybe Z as well. So in this case we're going to use the slider Z, frequency of course. So let's just lock this layer for now again, and alt click on the stopwatch and create a new expression. P for position, X and Y. Oh, and we need the Z position as well. So let's create a new slider for that. Z position. X and Y position. XY frequency, Z frequency. Okay, let's. Yeah, sorry for that. I just like everything to be, in the same scheme. So let's move forward. Position Z equals point of interest Z, and same thing here. Frequency is this, and frequency Z is this. And yeah, let's create the new position of interest position by creating the X variable and typing wiggle and frequency X, position X, and let's take the first value, frequency Y, position Y, and the second value. By the way, these are all independent wiggles, so we could basically use the 0 at the end in here. But just to keep everything organized, I think it reads a little bit better when you got it like this. So and X, Y, Z, and let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. So let's see what we did wrong in here. Oh yeah, of course. Position Z and without the brackets, and the same in here. Frequency Z and without the brackets. Yeah, that's right. And let's turn the expression off for now. And let's turn the expression off for the position as well. So we can, define the original position like so, I think. And maybe move it a little bit down like so. And now we can turn the expression on. Let's see how that works. As you can see, the light stays in the same position, but it points in a different direction, which is exactly what we want. 100 and 100. Okay, pretty cool. Z position maybe 500. And the frequency, okay, 50 is too much. Let's set it to 1. And the Z frequency to 2 maybe. Okay, this definitely needs some time to work on the values to see what looks best, but you get the point, right? Okay, so now we move the light text above the light layer, and we set the light layer's transparency to the alpha channel of the light layer, of the text layer itself. As you can see, this already looks cool. Let's just zoom in. And what else we can do to make this look even better? Well, first of all, I think that when the light is shining directly through the letters, it should have some glow and some more intense light visible in here. So we can do that right now. And to do that, we can simply create a new adjustment layer with some Trapcode shine applied to it. You probably know this effect. It is very, very cool, but we need to set it up a little bit differently than the default settings. So let's set the color to none, which will create light from the original colors of the layer. And next we need to take the position of the light and use the same position for the source point of the shine layer, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. And since we don't use the z-axis to change the position of the layer, we simply have to take those two values without using any expressions like to comp, from comp, the ones that translate 3D dimensions and 3D positions to 2D positions. So it's going to be a little bit simpler. So let's just do that right now and create an expression. X equals position X, and Y equals position Y, and that's basically it. Okay, looks very cool, I think, but there's obviously a problem, because this should only take effect when the light is shining directly through the letters. So in here, the adjustment layer should be, turned off. Like so. But now when we turn it on, it's not what we want, right? So to do that, we're going to use a technique presented in one of my previous tutorials, which is PixelSampler. And let's just put it in. And we're going to set the layer of interest, and the source layer is going to be our light layer. And again, we're going to take the position from the position of the light, which is pretty convenient, I think. Let's take the position and say X equals position of the light in the X and position of the light in the Y, and XY, like so. And let's see if it works. Let's just turn on the include effects. Yep, it works. As you can see, when we move away, it goes, the sample color is set to black, and when we are on the text, it's set to white, which is exactly what we want. And now, having that set up already, let's just name this shine. We can set the shine opacity for the value that the PixelSampler is giving us on the luminance. Since the luminance goes from 0 to 100, then this is exactly what we need. So let's just take a pick whip and point to the PixelSampler. Let's just log this palette for now and point it to the luminance value, and that's it, I think. And also we can set the transfer mode to add, and yeah, that should be it. See, it already works, already looks cool. Oh yeah, but that's not all. Next thing I think that we can use is another adjustment layer. Basically the idea is the same, so we just create an adjustment layer that is going to be altering the whole effect when the light is shining directly through the letters. And this one is going to be Starglow, also a Trapcode plugin. Starglow, yes, here it is. And I think that maybe we should set it up. Maybe we should just look for some presets. Okay, this one looks pretty good, but I think if we can just lower the ray light and maybe boost the lights a little bit. No, that's a little bit too much. But we can use the mask, and that's pretty cool. And once again, we've got the position of the mask, which we're going to set to the position of the light. Perfect. Okay. Position of the light. Starglow. Mask position. X equals this. Y equals this. And X and Y. And I think we're going to use this expression quite a lot, so I'll just copy it to my clipboard so we can use it later on. Okay, and now let's just change the radius like so. And I think that we don't even need to set the transparency of this layer from the PixelSampler, because even when the light is away from the letters, it looks kind of cool. So maybe let's just leave it as it is. But maybe we can just change the color a little bit to something more orange, like so. No, that's not right. Something like this, maybe. Yeah, you know, it all depends on the look that you're looking for. So let's just skip this, because it doesn't change the way this is going to be made. It only changed the final appearance, so not that important. Okay, what else? And generally that's it. But to make it look really cool, all you have to do is to play with the parameters of the Lux plugin and of the shine and all that good stuff, and of course the Starglow. And actually you can download the project file, which is a bit more advanced than this version. It has I think about 12 layers, but the idea behind the whole expressions and the whole technique is basically the same. So just take the position of the light and take that and drive all the position of the effects through the position of the light. And also the transparency of the adjustment layers is driven from the luminance value that is provided by the text layer. That's basically it. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time. Cheers.